did you do anything with Christmas?
Christmas,
Did you have Christmas?
you know, yes, we always had something on Christmas. And the way, back in those days, we'd celebrate Christmas. You could buy, not back to Rosedale again, they'd have fireworks, firecrackers, we called them. And they had little short ones about not as long as your finger in a bundle. They was all bundled together. And they just cracked, just a little crack like that, and they, a lot of fun, we thought, you know, wasn't dangerous, the little fellows. But they got big ones, and they were dangerous. And we were taught, I don't think we ever had any very big ones at home. I wasn't able to get them anyway, but the others, I think, probably cost about 10 cents a package or something. But then people celebrated Christmas with fireworks and firecrackers. And I know one time we went back on the hill there with some dynamite. I don't know where the boys got it, the older boys, and they bore a hole in the stump, put a piece of dynamite down in there with a fuse on it so long, and then we light the fuse and run and blow the stump up, you see. Park, work, noise, big noise, you see. And that's the idea with the firecrackers. And then, of course, we'd make candy. You could buy candy, of course, to store and stick candy and mix and so on. But we'd make our own a lot of times. Taffy, have taffy pulls and stuff of that kind. But and Mother, of course, and I've never forgotten that, never will. In the fall time, of course, in order to keep apples, we'd dry our apples. And I used to, when I come home from school, Mother'd have a lot of apples ready to string, we called it. And we'd take an ordinary ball of twine, what we call now, I suppose you can still buy it, caught nickel at the store, and we'd take a string probably, oh, I don't know, so long, and then we made an apple rack, which was just a frame piece, and then we'd put nails in at a slant up the sides, and I'd take this, Mother would have the apples ready, she'd quarter them, and then take the core out, of course, peel them, all done by hand. We got a apple peeler later, but and there's some quarters. Well, it'd have a long wire needle, so long, and I'd string these apples on a string twice as long as this frame was. Then we'd tie the string, and then that made a double string, and we'd hang them on the nails and set it in board and have a little fire in the fireplace. And that's the way we dried our apples. And then, of course, in wintertime, dried apples, good, fine, good for you. But Mother would make dried apple pie. And I've never forgotten, I thought that was the most wonderful thing in the world, was a dried apple pie. And she'd make these pies, and they were made so that she'd stack up 4 or 5 pies high, that way. Well, then she'd cut the pie in probably 6 pieces to make 6 cuts. And we'd just go and get apple pie anytime we wanted. But Christmas times when she'd make those pies, and then she'd make cookies and baked goods, you see, like that. And that's the way we celebrated Christmas. Then we'd have our fireworks and that.
Did you ever put up a Christmas tree?
One time, only once. And this time, and of course it'll go over again, Grover was, to me, was a champion of the family. He was always busy making something, doing something, and well, everybody liked Grover. He was just one of those standard behavior boys in the country, and was known for that. But back to the Christmas tree, Grover went down the creek there someplace and found a evergreen tree. What do we call it? A pine, spruce pine, and a nice, round, beautiful little tree. And I told you about the houses. One sat here in 1 year, and they had the Christmas tree in the kitchen. And of course, it reached from the floor to the ceiling. Of course, the ceiling wasn't as high, very high. But that's the Christmas tree we had. And then Grover and Mother was overseers of it. And but during the Christmas season, I don't know whether Mother bought it or somebody bought it for her, was a little bell. It's not a very big bell, like a school bell, but it wasn't big. And so we was all supposed to gather in the room here, and then when Mother got ready for us, why, she'd ring the bell. So we was all out here in the what we call the living room where we lived, and we heard the bell tinkle, you know. Well, up we go. And I remember so well, as we went along the porch, there was a basket sitting there, and Dad grabbed up the basket and put it on his arm, you know, to go in to get his Christmas off the Christmas tree. I don't remember much about what we had on the tree. Not, of course, I don't know how I had it trimmed, but that was the only Christmas tree we ever had. But Dad was going with a basket, you see. He'd play, now you're going to get a basket full of Christmas.
Why, would you reckon, would she put cookies or something on it?
Took what?
Would she put cookies or something like that on the tree?
I suppose that's what, I can't remember. I just couldn't tell you what it was trimmed in. I think they bought some candy and had the candy maybe tied on it, you know, and some things like that. That's my recollection.